Hello, welcome back to another episode of PBJ. I'm Jasmine and I am here with Christie today from Concrete Empire.
Hi.
And all the other fun things that she has going on. So I was first introduced to you through Instagram, obviously. I was just scrolling through and I was like, these are so cute. And the names are really what drew me in. Can you tell us more about that?
I just want to have a lot of fun with the names and draw people in with them. So just go wild with the names and have fun with it.
No, they're super fun. So this one I know is called Pothead. And then can you move us through the rest of them?
Face Plant, A Jar is Born, this one called Shrub Hub. This is my newest one, Crop Circle, because it kind of looks like a UFO.
I love that. It's super great. So how did you get into concrete working?
Yeah, it's actually a really great story. Well, it's a story of hardship because I actually had a cancer diagnosis. And anybody who has had something like that, even if you have insurance, you know that it's a really costly situation. So I had tons of medical bills, and I had a friend who had this as a hobby, and he said, I can teach you how to do this and you can raise some extra money. So he set me up with some molds and all the tools I needed and said, just start doing it and start selling this, and this can help you. So that's exactly what I did. I started making extra money to pay off my medical bills, and I was able to pay off all my extra medical bills. And so now 10% of everything I make goes to the Cancer Research Institute. So I'm now cancer-free, so this helps people who still go out who have cancer. I hope that it can help them.
That is such a beautiful story. I think one thing that I'm super curious about is, how long have you been doing this?
It's 5 years now.
5 years, wow. And all of that has gone to help the cancer research. Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit more. Do you have a setup at your house, or do you have your own little studio? And I know you work full time, so how do you manage that as well?
Right, I work full time. I have a really demanding job actually, so it is all in my spare time, but I really appreciate having a creative outlet. So I do this from home and just in my little apartment. So
is it messy?
It's so messy.
Lay down a mat and everything.
I have a whole little section that's cordoned off for it. So
is there a specific type of concrete that you use? And then what kind of paint do you use as well?
Yeah, I actually started using, when I first started doing this, with like artisan concrete that was really very expensive. And then I found out that you can just use the quick concrete that people use and it yields the same result. So now I can make these within an hour and it yields basically the same. And then I experimented with different kinds of pigments that you can just mix within the concrete that gets these colors. And so I really am drawn more to these natural colors rather than really garish colors. So I try and stick with these really natural. And this is pretty basically the colors I have, other than black as well, which you don't see here. And I also have a marble, something that comes out looking like a marble as well. That's not represented here. But I mix that pigment right in with the concrete and it comes out with that way.
So this one, for example, does this have pigment in it, or is it just the concrete itself?
It's the concrete and the pigment mixed within the concrete.
Okay, cool. So it comes out just like the concrete's just a gray type color then. Yeah. Cool, interesting. I have no idea anything about clay or concrete. You don't have a storefront?
No.
Or brick and mortar, so you're doing it all online?
Well, I do it online, but I also have consignment, or consignment and wholesale. So there are some stores that carry wholesale and some stores that do consignment as well. So it is available at some stores within the Denver metro area, as well as Taos. I live part-time in Taos, New Mexico, so there's some stores that carry it there as well.
Oh no, that's so great. What stores do you have them here?
Here at Sage Spade in Arvada.
They just opened, right?
Yes, yeah. It's such a cute place. Highly recommend. And the Plant Ranch is going to be carrying it here shortly.
I have also heard of the Plant Ranch. It's apparently one of the best nurseries around here. Do you use a online storefront to manage your online orders? What do you use?
Big Cartel.
Okay. I've never heard of that.
It's a much smaller e-commerce site, but it's made specifically for artists and made specifically for artisans. So it's much better, in my opinion, for better than things like Shopify, better than those kinds of things, because they're really in tune with what small business owners and artists need.
So you see lower, because I know they charge a percentage, right, for every purchase?
They charge a flat rate for monthly. And it's based on how much you have a flat monthly rate, and you have tiered based on how many products you might want to be selling. So based on how much business you think you're going to do and how many products you're going to carry. So.
That makes sense. Do they also manage the website, or is it just the storefront? And then
I build it out, but they make it very easy to do and they give you templates to do that. So it's really easy to do. So if you don't know how to code and do things like that, you don't have to be Steve Jobs level of web designer to do it.
Do you have any like plans when it comes to Empire, like scaling it or anything like that?
I'm hard because it's, be nice, but it's something that it's like my hands on. I don't want to have other people do that. It's be nice to grow, but then that has employees where they're doing that portion, and I want that part for me.
It's your creative outlet.
Right,
that makes sense. Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but I'd like to have it in more stores and have more people carry it and share it with more people and raise more money for the charity that is so close to my heart. So
yeah. Oh, inventory. How do you keep up with that, especially in New Mexico, you said?
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Yeah, I have storage here where I try and stay ahead of things and kind of storage and so usually every morning I make inventory and then store it. So I have inventory ready to go if I need it. Don't usually, and I'll bring it down to New Mexico when I go. But everything's made here in Colorado, stored in Colorado, and it's my home base.
Does it require like a kiln like this?
No, when you make it, you put it in a mold and it cures. And so what happens is it heat up in itself when it's curing. So like when you touch the mold, you'll feel the heat coming from it. So it'll just heat up, it cures itself, it'll heat. And then within an hour, it'll be done. And then you just take it out of the mold. And then from there, you'll sand it. There might be rough edges, or sand it from there and then seal it. Then you're ready to go.
How did you come up with Concrete Empire and the logo?
It's a little bit ambitious. I'm going to build an empire of this concrete. So I thought a little ambitious there.
It sounds like you got a great foundation already. So.
Right. Yeah. And the logo is a little bit like, you think of concrete and you think it's really hard and durable. But these pieces can be very delicate. Logo has these little lines, which I think convey some delicacy. I think it conveys a little bit of both.
I like it because I know like we see that Concrete Empire immediately, but it's also just like very simple. Like some logos are like so much going on. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you make these pieces, molding process is like, and how many pump out at a time?
So I usually have one mold for each of these types. Some people have different molds of the same thing. Usually just have one, but I look for very unique molds. Like this one, I really like this piece. This is something like you're gonna find made out of plaster almost anywhere, but people like regular large vessels, right? So I still carry this. Something like this is more unusual. You're not going to always find this anywhere. So I like to have really unusual pieces like this. These are more unusual. So I really try and find things that are unusual. Make them, I'm going to pour one of them at a time. So it's a little bit time consuming, but my goal is to find something that's a little more unusual that not everybody's going to carry.
Where do you find these molds?
Depends. Usually you can't find them anywhere in the United States. You usually have to find them order from some place in China that makes these molds. Sometimes I'll find an object that I really like and pour a mold myself. I'm learning that right now. You could out of silicone. So I'm learning that process right now of making my own molds out of silicone, but that's like a situation and a trial and error process that I'm learning myself as well. And so that's something, a process that, I'm getting to a little bit more and hope to make a little bit more artistic, one of a kind things as I go too. Yeah. But that's in the future.
Okay. Yeah. That's neat. I didn't even know that coming up with the right silicone is like a whole ordeal and everything like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because it would have to have the threshold of heat as this heats up, right? Because do you know what temperature this heats up to?
I don't know. Hot?
It's just really hot. Great. Well, I think that concludes like all of the questions that I had.
Naya, I have one thing for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a little surprise for me, so I hope you enjoy it.
Well, I'm super excited to see what's in it, but you guys can see later, so to be continued about what is inside this box. So I just wanted to say thank you again so much, Christie. I'm going to have all of Christie and Concrete Empire's information down in the description below. Any lasting words?
Thank you so much, and come check out my stuff at theconcreteempire.com.
Christie has a website. You can go onto it on her Instagram that tells you all about her story and what she has going on. Yay! Awesome.